Cindy, we're back talking here again to talk to two mental health experts, and watching that again is
it's really emotional.
You're amazing.
No,
you're offering so much to people.
I'm really so glad we had the conversation, and it's difficult to have. So that's why we bring in some mental health experts to get some expert advice. And our first guest, we are joined by Dr. Christine Moutier, who is a psychiatrist and chief medical officer at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Doctor, welcome.
Thank you so much, Cindy and Dana, for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's wonderful to join you for this story.
Thank you, thank you.
So this whole mental health world is something I was new to, and I think there's a lot of people like that, and I think the terminology, you know, psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist, what is the difference between these people?
Well, we are all mental health professionals and go through different routes for training. Psychiatrists, like myself, are medical doctors who go to medical school, and PhD psychologists and other master's level therapists go to their respective graduate schools for training. We are all professionals, and we are all about the same thing, which is to help the individual and their family, if relevant, understand what is going on and what are the options to regain their optimal mental health. And really keeping in mind that mental health is a part of human health. Like every other aspect of the body, the brain is a physical organ in the body.
Right. And if you have a problem there, if you have a broken leg, you go get that broken leg taken care of. Dr. Moutier, one of the things, and listening to Cindy and just her thought process, that there is that time, or maybe it's the whole time, where you say, I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm going to hold it in. I'm not going to tell anybody. What could the impact of that be?
Well, it is a natural human instinct that when any of us are in pain or especially mental distress, feeling you know, like we can't come up with the solution ourselves, unfortunately, our natural instinct is to withdraw and hide that, when actually what we need to be doing is reaching out and finding the right kind of help. But it's a very, very natural thing that we do. It's important that people realize that, so that if your loved one or someone in your life is going through a struggle with their mental health, know that they are probably not just coming right out and talking about it, and that it could be that you could be the person who helps draw that out of them by creating a really supportive safe space where they know that there will be no judgment and only support and unconditional love.
In the interview, when I was talking to you, Dana, you know, I talked about the signs for me, which was, you know, stopping exercise, wanting to sleep all the time. I think the signs are going to be different for everybody, but Doctor, I'm wondering if there are some basic signs that we can look for that says, hey, you know, this person may need help.
Yes, if you think about what happens to you or your loved one when you're under a lot of stress and pressure, it might be that your stomach starts getting upset, your back starts to ache, headaches, sleep disruption. Those same symptoms that come from an overload of stress sometimes are the same ones that are the first to start changing as mental health begins to deteriorate. And you know, I think what I want your viewers to understand is that, again, because mental health is a part of health, but we haven't really, we're just now catching up with those facts and that science here in our society. We have been practicing writing off a lot of those signs that are really true warning signs for serious deterioration in mental health, and kind of saying, hey, it's just the stress, let's watch and wait, when actually what we could be doing is becoming much more proactive about what those signs are for each of us. That starts by talking about it, or asking your loved one if you notice that those changes in sleep, behavior, tone of voice, their usual way of engaging in their life just seems off to you. You were so right in the earlier part of your discussion. Trust your gut instinct, because the people you know well, your gut will tell you when something is not them.
And of course, this is what we're talking about, breaking the stigma. when you decide you're going to say something to someone, as a caring loved one, because you've noticed some of those symptoms that you mentioned, I mean, what do you say? Hi, how are you doing? I mean, Cindy and I went through that in our conversation. Or do you say, as the conversation goes, are you thinking about hurting yourself, taking your own life? Could you help us with that?
Yes, I really would encourage everyone, resist the urge to avoid it and just assume someone else is seeing it and will check in on them. Assume you're the only one who will reach out. And set up a time that is in private, not like a hallway passing, quick or in front of other people type of situation, because that really doesn't invite that kind of increased level of vulnerability. So I would say, hey, I've noticed X, Y, and Z, and I would be very direct, because otherwise they're wondering what is going on. And I would be quick to say, I'm concerned, and all I want to do is understand what you're going through. If there are things that I can support you, and there is no judgment here. So really to set it up in that way, and then just ask them the open-ended question. How are you doing? How have things been going? I know there's a lot going on in your life. How has it been affecting you? And let them share. And as they share, you will be listening to their words and their tone of voice, those verbal and nonverbal cues. Be curious, be caring in a loving way. Follow up on the things that they're saying. So if they use words like overwhelmed, like I'm not sure I can do this anymore, get through this. Remember, people with suicidal thoughts will not just put them out there on a silver platter. They will hint at them. That's it. Direct, let them talk at that point. And if they share it with you that they have been thinking of suicide, know that many, many people have those thoughts at times. It does not mean we need to panic and call 911 in that moment. It means we listen, we say, oh my goodness, this is affecting you so much. That must be so hard. Tell me more about that. And care for them, love them, just like you would if they had shared some other kind of really serious experience. And then what I would do is, if there's any concern that they're not safe in that moment, that would be the only time that I would engage emergency services. Otherwise, it's really about being their friend, their loved one, whatever your relationship is.
Doctor, the word suicide, it's such a, word. And I'd heard that if you were to ask someone, if you really think someone's in trouble, that you can say, have you been thinking about having suicidal thoughts? And that doesn't lead to somebody attempting to take their life.
That is correct. There has been a lot of confusion, and I want to try to clear that up. Asking in a caring, non-judgmental, supportive way if somebody's having thoughts of suicide allows them the opportunity. They don't have to take that opportunity, but they might if they are ready, and it might be the first time that they're able to share that they're going through something very intense, but they didn't know who was safe to talk to about it. So it can be extremely helpful, and actually the first step in a therapeutic sense of getting the help that they need. Remember that suicidal thoughts are not because they have a morbid preoccupation. It is their attempt to try to problem solve. They are feeling desperate and trapped or in pain, and you are allowing them the opportunity to talk about all of that. We can handle this. We talk about a lot of things as friends, colleagues, and family members.
The process also can be very daunting if someone does have that courage to ask for help. And is it a medication? Is it a talk therapy? And will this lead me to a place to get psychiatric help, where you sleep overnight, you're part of group therapy, what you did? How about helping people understand that, to not be afraid of that part of the treatment?
You know, what I would say is there are a lot of things that are unknown to us and scary until we try it. And that's true if you were being diagnosed with some kind of physical illness. You wouldn't know everything about what it's going to be like and what those treatment options are, how they'll feel, what they look like. And you have to take that first step. And with mental health, it's no different. It's just that it is the brain that is sick during that period of time. And so it can be even more kind of daunting and scary. And that's why it is so helpful to have supportive family members and colleagues around you who are willing to kind of help support that process. That really is how it should be, just like it is for physical illness.
I think a lot of people also wonder about the cost of treatment.
Oh, good point.
You know, you hear these astronomical amounts that certain people charge. So I'm wondering what kind of low cost and even free resources there are out there.
There are low cost and even free psychotherapy and treatment available. And what I would say, you do have to find it. If you're a New Yorker, you can contact NYC Well. That is a go-to resource where they will be able to customize their answer to you based on a whole host of factors. But almost every county has something similar. So I would really encourage you, the way to go is to not give up and keep trying. You can start with your primary care doctor, really anyone who might have experience or answers as to how to start down that path of finding the right person. And I know it is a process, don't give up. But again, I think about the situation of someone with severe diabetes or some other kind of physical health illness. You would do the same thing. You would not give up until you find the right health provider, the right treatment plan that is working. And we can do that for our mental health as well.
Doctor, as we begin to wrap up, tell me what you think about my friend and her courage.
Oh my goodness. Cindy is my hero. She went through so much, and thank goodness you all and her family were there for her, and she was able to start talking about it. She found the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, our organization's New York City chapter. Those resources are there for others who are struggling and not sure where to go as well. You can go to afsp.org to learn more, but I am in huge admiration of Cindy for speaking out, and I just want people to know that Cindy is brave. She's not the only one.
Yeah.
There are 1 in 4 Americans who are going through similar types of mental health experiences, and we just need to shine a light and take the stigma out of these topics, because they're really, these are health issues, just like all aspects of human health, just like we've been talking about.
Dr. Moutier, thank you so much. I'm humbled by both of you, and thank you for your expertise.
Much appreciated.
We just have to keep talking.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Moutier.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Again, if you or someone you know needs help, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline Network has a 24/7 crisis hotline. Again, the number 1-800-273-TALK 8255. You can also text the word TALK to 741-741 to text with a trained crisis counselor anytime for free.